Hi, Team Reactor. So in this trial by fire, I'll be sharing with you how I will be able to help Reactor to reach out to more high schools and universities in Malaysia. Of course, I will also weigh the pros and cons and share with you why in the second task where I have to prepare the three-page presentation that I decided not to go along with high schools and universities per se. But nonetheless, let me first share with you which schools should we reach out to and why. So the four high schools that I would highly recommend us reaching out to would be Kunchen Independent, also Sri KL, Dwi Emas International Schools. Yes, Dwi Emas International School, if you know, they are also doing entrepreneurship related tasks. That simplifies things as in terms of alignment, it's there. Then Reactor School can come in and elevate the whole impact and exposure the students get, right? Fourth would be Tsinghua International School. These are all top-ranked high schools that we can approach and collaborate with. So actually, these schools are also some of the schools that my current students are attending. And some of our parents here are also a part of the PTA, the Parent Teacher Association. So it would help me in a way, or Team Reactor in a way, to better connect into the school and the decision makers. So why these schools as well, right? These schools are the top, right, in Malaysia. And by making a ripple in with these schools, the other schools will follow suit, especially the international schools, to keep up the competitive edge. Then the second high school, the other high school that I also would recommend is Charterhouse International School. So I recently visited Charterhouse International School through one of their parent open day. I'm not a parent, but as you know, my way of networking with schools, I also participate in several opportunity or open days for me to then network with the respective decision makers. So they often invite uh, the headmaster of the school, right, to talk about why they should join their school. So I went through this Charterhouse International School and I found out that their value and their curriculum is well aligned with Team Reactor. They encourage their students to do something called the Independent Learning Project, which I find it very uncommon in Malaysia. And to be able to do an independent learning project, it requires also the entrepreneurial knowledge, skills, and attitude. And I believe Team Reactor can enhance the students' ILP and help the students get into more prestigious universities, because like high schools and also universities, one thing that they value most are their student enrollment and also their overall branding. So if we can help these students in the university to reach out and even like attend into Harvard universities and so on, right? It would definitely add value to the school and also um, create the need of working or collaborating with Team Reactor. Then in terms of universities, I am personally more connected to Heron Ward, Utah, Taylor's University, and UOW Malaysia, University of Wollongong, right? These are some of the universities I've spoke to in the past and have connection in with the lecturers and respective decision makers as well. I recently spoke to Heron Ward, one of the lecturer that used to coach me in a business case challenge, and she was telling me that Heron Ward is trying to build an incubator and she's also part of it. So this is an opportunity Team Reactor can tap into by helping them establish an incubator, a business incubator, startup incubator, and also run more youth conference to raise awareness in Heron Ward about entrepreneurship. So how should we get in touch with the decision makers? So as I was sharing the high school connections and the university connections that I have, I've also technically want to share, right? These are some of the connections that I've built through my journey and of running Rich Hero. So how I did it was I reached out to parents, right, who are part of the parent-teacher associations in the high school and also primary school because my main target audience was primary students. Um, then that's how I get in touch with all the headmaster and all the the person in charge that is part of the student development and outreach. So for university, I also reach out to the lecturer and have connected to them by participating in their open days and some of their project showcase, right? So it's through on ground networking. That's how I get in touch with the decision makers and share my thoughts about future of education, how it should be, how we can help, and so on and so forth. So some of the warm connections I managed to create over the years are to high schools and universities, and I get to know their decision makers by um, this group called the Malaysia International Schools Parents Support Group, MIS-PSG. I know the founder of MIS-PSG, and we exchange our thoughts on education and how and they are constantly being approached by universities and high schools so that they can, that these schools can actually up their student enrollment. So I think something can be done with these parent community, right, to then reach out to the school's decision makers. There's also two other corporates which I will reach out to in order to connect to the decision makers, which are Verkle and also Talent Bank. Verkle, they do basically payment system for schools, mainly for students' transaction. And of course, they market themselves as a Visa card or a debit card for kids and for parents to keep track of their kids' spending and where they spend their money and pocket money and so on, right? And also teach about financial literacy and so on and so forth. But ultimately, their business model or their revenue model stem from the school themselves, the school's transactions. So they have penetrated to I would say about 70%, which I had someone I knew working with Virgil, the ex Guru Lab co-founder. She mentioned to me they have about 70 to 80% of international schools abroad on board, right? So by working with Virgil, and what Virgil want at the moment are um, workshops, programs that would add value to their clients, mainly parents, students, and also schools. So they're happy to connect if we can have a workshop, right? Which is something that Team Reactor has been doing to add value. This would help us connect to schools like Kun Chen, Sri Amas, Sri Kuala Lumpur, and so on and so forth. Then the next one would be Talent Bank. This one, it will reach to schools, but at the same time, it will also reach to organizations uh, in Malaysia or corporates in Malaysia. Talent Bank is a recruitment agency, right? They are connecting the bridge. They are the bridge between university graduates and also um, the corporates, right, who are headhunting talents constantly. So I know the founder. The founder actually sent their child to one of our workshop, and that's how we get in contact. And ever since then, we have been discussing how we can, create value for, or I would say, talk about a sustainable ecosystem, right, to solve Malaysia's employability issue. So then the other one of the way that I connect was also through cold connections. So I took part in youth organizations, I volunteer in NGOs to make changes as well as network. So I'm a part of JCI, previously BNI, and of course, maybe JCI would not be the right, I would say, NGO, right, to directly work with, but through JCI, I managed to get to meet and know and connect with several schools, decision makers, and so on through the projects, right, that we run for the NGO. I would also recommend to connect with enactors and YMCA through my friend, as they were alumni. They are alumni of enactors and YMCA. They are youth organizations that heavily focus on making change as well, which is also very relevant to Team Reactor. So should we involve parents, startups, corporates, venture capitals, government? Short answer, yes. But I want to walk you through my thinking process and how we would be able to do this. To summarize it, it would be to solve their pain points, right? Here on the left, I've identified the key partners that we can work with: parent community, high school, university, which we have talked about, corporate, government, complementary partners, and also youth organizations. So some of their pain for parent community has always been towards their kids, right? Whether is it academic curricula, future skills, whether they are relevant, right? Whether they get scholarships, whether they have the right attitude. And an opportunity I foresee for Team Reactor is to host more conference engagement, to have more engagement with parent community, right? Whether by working with the community that I suggested, the Malaysia International Schools Parents Support Group, and to talk about how education would work in this VUCA world, the vulnerability, uncertain world, right? How their child can navigate, right, through the world basically, and achieve, obtain their success, find themselves, and so on and so forth. So it's to really add value to the parent community, and it can be co-host together with the parent community. That's the beauty of it. Then for high school and universities, I would say Team Reactor will have to be the bridge between high school and university, right? High school students, when they finish the schools, they go to university. But to go into university now, high schools and parents have a lot of concerns, naming the price, right? Whether after the university, their employability, whether is there any value, right, into the university. And I think this is something that Team Reactor has been doing already. So I'm not going to go into it too much. So then you have the corporate partners. They're looking for talent. CSR and ESG compliance is one of the one avenue that we can go into, collaborating with them, because we have talents, or actually because we are empowering future change makers trying to solve the real world problems. And some of the and I would say these real world problems are somehow also related to ESG, right? Either the environment, social, or the governance part, or you can, involve the SDG goals. So an opportunity I foresee, and I recommend also to work with corporate, because of coming up with intrapreneurship program, right? Creating entrepreneurship within the team, right, of these corporate entities. Corporate case competition to help them identify talents, a more structured internship and career relevant experience, because one of the main problem between university, corporate, and also the students, right, is them not finding the right internship to provide the student the actual relevant experience. And also for corporate, right, having talent that actually doesn't have the knowledge, skills, and attitude suitable for the industry, right? So, and universities not really knowing how to create that. So Team Reactor can come in as a structure, can come in and co-design the structured internship by pulling the three parties together to create a relevant internship experience. I noticed that Team Reactor also have the internship opportunity for startups. It's relevant, but for more corporate level, right? Government, mainly their challenges are unemployment, career mismatch, which I believe if we were to work with corporate, complementary partners, university and parent community, it somehow resolved that already. But here's the thing, as we work and create impact and awareness, then the government will see, and it's much easier for us to then get government support, funding, and so on to and also connection to create more impact. Then complementary partners, basically, because I see Team Reactor as part of a bigger ecosystem, and the ecosystem are listed here as part of the key partners, and there are also complementary businesses that would basically complement the whole ecosystem and add value to each other. One business that I identified would be Talent Bank, right? And a recruitment agency in Malaysia. They connect their customers with talents. So one challenge I foresee, which I've also spoke to the founder and identified that one challenge that I foresee for them was the quality of talent they managed to connect to their customers, right? Because they are running career fairs, they're running awards, but talent has always been a product from the university, right? Most commonly lah. So an opportunity I foresee was to work with Talent Bank, right? To co-create industry relevant programs, workshops and trainings and internship. And then the universities would be enrolled for this opportunity, because getting universities to pay would be a pain. Corporate to sponsor would be much easier as part of their ESG, CSR, SDG goal compliant related funding. Partnering with Talent Bank to connect to multiple corporates all at once. Yeah. So youth organizations, they are more receptive. They want opportunities, they want to make impact, they want to build their resume, they want to make change, they want to innovate. So working with youth organizations would be one of the more ideal one, as well as we can co-host competitions, conferences, and then get sponsors to sponsor these activities, which would be a win-win situation for youth organizations and also Team Reactor, as then later as the next level of value ladder that we can provide would be the lessons, the support, the training, the coaching that comes in. Yeah, that's how I would resolve the three. That's how I would help Reactor reach out to more high schools and universities in Malaysia.